Hello, urban professionals. It is officially 2024, and I am here just to check in with you and make sure that you have set your goals for the year. If you have not, that's okay. You're in the right place today because I am going to teach you how to set your goals. If you have already set your goals for the year, then I have a couple more questions for you. Are they SMART goals? Are they number one, specific? Are they measurable? Are they, did you add a stretch goal? Are they relatable? And are they time specific? If you answered no or unsure to any of those questions, then you're also in the right place because I'm going to teach you just how to do that as well. Now, if you answered yes to any or all of these questions, that's okay. You still might get some great value out of this goal setting course that I am about to give you for free. That is right, for free. My name is Portia Sharp. I am the leader of the Urban Professionals Network, and I am honored to share what I know about goal setting with you. So let's dig into this. All right. So let me share my screen with you all. And let's get into it. All right, so this is Urban Professionals Goal Setting 2024. Okay, now, if you had a chance to come to one of our annual goal setting, vision board, business planning events, then you might have seen some of this content before, but I am always looking for ways to evolve and add to this content and just make our year better. So here's what we have for 2024. All right. Now, stay tuned all the way to the end of this video because I will give you an opportunity for some free resources and workbooks at the end. Okay. All right. Now, let's talk goal setting. We do this every year. People write down their goals, people have them in their head, people make vision boards, people make physical vision boards, they make digital vision boards, they tell people what their goals are. But it is important nonetheless to actually get those goals out of your head and onto paper, vision board, something. It stays in your mind, and then it kind of poof goes away as the hustle and bustle of everyday life happens. But if you set your goals and put them somewhere where you can see or easily reference them, that will help you. A lot of people like to just jump right in and say, oh, I want this, I want that, I want to do this, I want to do that for their goals. But there's actually a different way to go about it. And it first starts with your mind. Okay. So, in order to even start your goal setting, you need to understand a few things. The first thing before we even set a goal is we need to understand why we are setting that goal. What is our big why? Why are we getting up every single day and attacking the way we attack every single day? Why is it that I want to actually get out of bed even when I don't even feel like rolling over? Okay. Why do you need this amount of money? Why do you choose the business or the industry that you're in? Why um, do you show up every day? What does a perfect life look like for you? What happens if you don't reach this goal? That big why is the most important piece of your goal setting because I will tell you, as a working professional, as an entrepreneur, there are days that you are not going to want to get out of that bed, and you are going to have to understand why you need to get out of that bed. Everybody can pick a number for the year. I want $100,000, but why does that $100,000 mean so much to you? Does that $100,000 actually fund your perfect life? Or do you need more than that to fund your perfect life? Or check this, do you need less than that $100,000 to fund your perfect life? You don't know that until you know your why and what that perfect life looks like. All right. Now, second thing, is you just have to master your mind every day. We're going to go through, we're going to set some big goals. We are going to plan out our schedules, and we have lots of work loaded up for us, right? But guess what? Again, there are going to be those days where you're just not feeling it. So you have to have your mind mastered. We can control our first thought of the day. We can't control we can't control our first thought, but we can always control our second thought. So that first thought might be, I don't feel like getting up. That second thought that we can control says, no, my perfect life depends on me waking up because I need that $100,000. All right. So when we get up and we made that second thought to say, let's do this, now we need to talk to ourselves nicely. And sometimes we get a little caught up in beating ourselves up. I know I do. I'm very guilty. Okay. But we need to speak to ourselves in the way that we would speak to other people and motivate them. So we need to do daily affirmations or weekly affirmations, some gratitude. And also in your goal setting, you need to add some self-mastery. And we'll talk a little bit about what that means, but you need to be learning based. You need to always be improving on your craft, improving on your knowledge, soaking in good content, and just more education as much as you can in order to continue to improve yourself as a business owner, improve yourself as a craftsman. All right. And then just commit to mastering your craft and commit to obtaining your goals and actually knocking them out the park this year. And then last, like I said, we need to have these goals written down. Everybody does not like vision boards. Everybody is not crafty. Some people don't even want pictures in their house. Some people don't want to do cutouts. I personally think a vision board is great. I have done vision boards every year. In the 2 years that I did not do a vision board, it showed in my year. But you put your goals, vision board, whatever way you write your goals down, you put them in front of you or in a place where you can easily see them every day. That does something to your mental subconsciously that reminds you, this is where I'm headed this year. All right. So now that we've mastered mindset and we've heard a little bit about that, let's go on to the good stuff, the stuff you came here for, which is goal setting. So again, ladies and gentlemen, urban professionals, minority entrepreneurs, let's get into goal setting. Like I said in the beginning, your goals must be SMART, specific, measurable, and then some people say obtainable. I hate saying obtainable because guess what? If you can already attain it, really, why is it a goal? So scratch off attainable and add a stretch goal, something you know that it might be a little hard for you to do, but you're committed to doing it. Is your goal relatable? That takes you back to that big why. Why am I doing this? Everybody can shout out a number. I want $100,000 a year, but why do you want that? If you don't have the relatable experience attached to that money, you will not be so hard pressed to get to that 100,000. You might even find that once you reach a certain level below that number, you'll be fine because that actually is the number that funds your perfect life. And then they must be time specific. So I want to lose 50 pounds, that's the specific, within 3 months. If you don't add the time to it, you'll be working all year long, okay? So here's an example of just setting a goal versus setting a SMART goal. Example number 1, I want to pay off my house this year and be free. Everybody wants to pay off their house this year and be free. But what does that look like for you? I will make $30,000 to pay my house off by December 30th so that I can have $1,000 extra monthly cash flow. That right there told you the specifics. I want $30,000. It told you by December, it told you that I want it to be free and have monthly cash flow. And it was relatable because obviously it's my house, and it might be a stretch goal because, are you going to come up with $30,000 cash? It's definitely possible. It may be not that easy. Okay. Example number 2, I want to lose weight. So does everybody in America, even the skinny people, they want to lose weight. So what does losing weight look like to you? Well, I will lose 20 pounds by April 1st so that I can put on my swimming suit. Very specific, 20 pounds, measurable, 20 pounds by April 1st. So that's measurable and time specific. Why? Because I want to fit in my swimsuit. I want to be cute on the beach in Aruba. Okay. So that's the relatable. By April 1st, that's 3-4 months away. Might be a stretch. Okay. Maybe not for somebody else. So when you think about what to include in your goals, they're not always going to be about money. They're not always going to be about weight. They're not always going to be a one-size-fits-all package. You need to, number one, have number specific and income specific goals. And you also need to just have some personal goals. Again, those business goals, those personal goals, some of them can have a number value attached to them, and some of them can have other values attached to them. And specifically, another example is, oh, I just want to look good this year. Okay, well, the more smart version of that sentence is, well, I want to get dressed every day and put on makeup every day and wear heels every day. And that is not necessarily a goal that we can measure with numbers, but it still is specific. It's still measurable. Did you get up and get dressed today? Or did you have half pajamas and the other half a button-up shirt? In your numbers, though, you want to add all the expenses you think you need to cover. Big purchases. Do you want new furniture? Do you need new equipment for your business? Do you want to invest in real estate or pay off a house? Do you want to take some vacations? Those 4 vacations might be, one might cost $1,000, one might cost $3,000. Add those up. Do you want to invest in stock? Well, how much? Things like that, big purchases. I want a new refrigerator. Well, that might cost me a couple $1,000s. I need to add that in my goals and in my numbers. Here's a big one that people don't always think about upfront. Sometimes as entrepreneurs, we tend to get in the thick of things to the point where we need help. Okay. We tend to wear a lot of hats, but sometimes we need to pass one hat over to a trusted hire. And we don't always account for that hire in our goals in terms of numbers. So if I want an executive assistant and that executive assistant's salary is $40,000 a year, we need to add that $40,000 into our goals. Okay. And we need to add the process of hiring into our goals as well. All right, then we need to add some personal victories in our goals. So I want to snag a new client. Maybe you're a hairdresser. I want to snag a celebrity client. Which celebrity? Okay, maybe you might want to add a couple of celebrities in that one, but I want to start up a new business or have a new idea. Okay, let's make a list of those and add it to our goals. I want to lose weight. That one always keeps coming up. I mean, it's a good industry here, right? It's that time of the year for you fitness coaches to get in there. All right, so again, set your annual expenses, attach numbers or values to each one. And then it's the ones that you can't attach a number to, then you want to definitely still make it a SMART, specific, measurable, stretch, relatable, and time specific goals. All right. So that's that. Now let's get into the numbers. So right now, I keep bringing up that 100,000 because it's just an easy number. And for some odd reason, including myself, I am guilty of this at some point in my life. I at least was, of shooting out this $100,000 number. I don't know what it is about $100,000 that everybody wants to get to the $100,000 mark. Until you get to the $100,000 mark, then your next mark is who knows what. But all right, so what you need to know to get specific on your numbers, and this is the part that is the most important. If you did not pay any attention to anything else that I said before now, we're going to break these numbers down, and I'm going to show you how to break them down from your end goal all the way up until what you need to do every single day. And this is the part of the goal setting that most of us don't get to. So remember in the beginning of the video when I said, have you already set your goals? Great, but you still might want to listen in, because I can guarantee you that some of you, or a lot of you, did not do this final step, which is break it down to know what you need to do every year, every quarter, every month, every week, every day. First, to start off, you need to know your numbers. You need to know your end number, which is what I said, add up all those values attached to those goals. And then you need to know your numbers in terms of your income. So if you work a 9-to-5 or a regular job, then you need to know exactly what you get for the hours worked, exactly what your paychecks look like every time you get paid. You can drill these numbers down too. And I will tell you, this will let you know if your job is a job that you better stay at because it's funding your perfect life, or if you need to come on over to the good side, okay? It's not all peaches and cream though, but that's another topic for another day. So know your numbers, know what you get for per paycheck, know what your average sales are, know what your conversion rates are. Now I'm talking to the entrepreneur, so it doesn't matter what product or service you have, you need to know how much money you get per product or per service, and how your conversion rates are. So if I make 10 phone calls, do I get 5 sales out of 10 phone calls, or do I get 1 sale out of 10 phone calls? And I'll show you why here. All right, so let's start off with our net goal of 100,000. All right, now we're going to add our expenses. Okay, so in this case, $30,000 are our expenses. And that could be whether that's your hire, that could be whether you have fees, that could be your cost for your material. Okay, so now we know we don't just need to make $100,000, we need to make $130,000. All right. Okay, so now we added our net goals plus our expenses. We got our gross and our total goal that we need. Now we're going to divide that by our average commission or average paycheck. You might refer to it as profit. I might refer to it as commission. Somebody else might refer to it as a paycheck, but we need to divide that by our average income. And I say average because some of us fluctuate. I sell houses. So every single commission check for me does not look the same. This one might be 3,000, that one might be 5,000, but we're going to take an average of that, okay? So in this case, I use $4,000. So on average per house, I get about $4,000, right? So we're going to divide that. This number equals how many units you need to sell to get up to $130,000 with an average commission of $4,000. In my case, I need to sell 33 houses, okay, in order to get to my $130,000 goal. Now, how do we figure this out from here? It's so easy to say, I want to make $100,000 or I want to sell 33 houses. But we have to keep going, okay? This only tells us how many units we need to move in order to get to that number. But now we need to know exactly what we need to do every month, every quarter, every week, every day in order to make that happen. This is where that conversion rate comes in at. So if I drill this down even further, it'll tell me, hey, it takes me 10 phone calls to get one person to say yes to me. And then it takes me 3 of those yeses to actually get a closed deal. So how many phone calls do I need to make in order to get those 33 units? How many people need to say yes in order for me to sell these units? How many appointments do I need to go on in order to sell these units? How many hours do I need to work if I'm a paid employee? How many overtime hours do I need to sign up for? How many events do I need to hold if you are an event planner or an event space? How many events do you need to hold in your space? How many people do you need to talk to in order for one of them to book your space? So once you have that number, then you can drill down to what you need to do every day, even down to the hour. So here's my example. 1 hour of cold calling equals 10 people that answer the phone and say hello. Out of those 10 people, only 5 of them will become people that I can follow up with. And that is what we call a lead. That is for sales training. We will have sales and marketing training coming soon. But 5 people now are leads that I can follow back up on. Out of those 5 people, only 2 of them will eventually meet with me. Out of those 2 people, 1 of them will turn into a sold listing. Now, let's just say my conversion rate is a lot better than that, then we can bump these numbers up. If my conversion rate, meaning how many people I talk to get to say yes, is lower, then we need more people to talk to, right? So that's where you need to know your conversion rate. And the way you know your conversion rate is by basically keeping track of everything. Simple. Go back in history. If I've marked 10 people on my call list for a week straight, and every time I hit those 10 people, I got that one contact or whatever, that's how you know. All right, so that one listing then pushes out $4,000 for me. So I know that I need to essentially make, it took me 10 contacts to make that $4,000, and I need 33 of them. I know good and well that I need at least 330 more contacts, or it might have been like 3,000. I gotta keep going. Oh, here we go. Duh, I have it already worked out for you. Look at God. All right, so let's work that backwards. Now I know I need 33 hours of cold calling. I need 3,300 contacts. I need 330 leads, which equals to 66 appointments, which equals to 33 listings. And we're just going to say all 33 of them sold, and we've got 130, that net goal. And now my perfect life is funded. All right. So now we know how to work the numbers. We know how to set the goals. We know how to drill them down to what we need to be doing every day. I need an hour of lead generation at least 33 days out of the year, which is not a lot compared to the 365 days are in a year. And sometimes just seeing that will help you stay in action and motivated. So you've set your goals, you've understood your why, you've understanding what you need to do every day. Now we need to get in action. Okay. Sometimes the hardest part is getting in action. And I think that always can come down to your mindset and the support system you have around you and knowing exactly what you need to do. So let's talk about getting into action. There's this book by Gary Keller. Now, you might think, if you've ever heard of Gary Keller or Keller Williams, that this is a real estate book. However, it is definitely not a real estate book, although Gary Keller does represent real estate. The one thing details amongst his pages that every day you wake up, there's going to be a long laundry list of stuff you need to do. And might be more than one thing that literally really needs to get done. But essentially, there is only one thing that you have to do to get you to that number every single day, or to get you to those goals every single day. So if you want to lose weight, what's the one thing you need to do? Maybe your one thing is, I need to exercise for an hour every day. Maybe the next person's one thing is, I need to eat a salad every day. Either way, it's the one thing. So the theory is, what's the one thing that you can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Let's talk about this just a little bit further. I've already explained to you that you've got this laundry list of stuff, right? I've already said, let's talk about the losing weight, right? Let's say somebody else's one thing is exercise, the other thing is eat a salad. Let's go with the exercise theory. The one thing that you can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary. If I exercise, and that's my one thing, do you think I'm going to get off the treadmill and go eat a burger? Probably not. I'm going to get off the treadmill and I'm going to want a salad automatically, because that one thing I just did makes the second thing easier or even unnecessary. Maybe I don't have to skip the carbs because I just burned them off. So back to my real estate. The one thing I need to do so that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary. Well, let's just think my $30,000 amongst the 100,000 is the salary I need for my assistant. Before I have the assistant, I have to do the lead generation. I have to show the houses. I have to sell the houses, and I have to do all the paperwork and all of the phone calls and all of the work in between. But if I did my one thing, my lead generation, my hour of lead generation to get my one deal, and that pays for my assistant, guess what? My assistant is now taking over the things, the paperwork, the phone calls, the in-between, and now I no longer have to do it. And I can still continue to focus on my one thing that gets me to that $100,000. I'm on that treadmill. I'm going to eat right. And that gets me to my 20 pounds by April 1st in my new swimsuit. Okay. So the one thing, I encourage you to get a copy of that book. Matter of fact, I will be gracious enough to gift one of the One Thing books to probably one person watching this video. I'm going to figure out the rules to that. I just made that up right here, but we're rolling with it. I love the One Thing. It's changed my life tremendously. So also keep in mind that when you get a book like this, whether it's the One Thing or whatever book that has that thing in it that you need, it's not a one-time read. You can read this book every year, every 6 months, every 3 months, whatever you need, because I guarantee you, you will get something new out of this book every time you read it. And that applies to all books, okay? All right, next thing, pain versus pleasure. And this is the big one. This is also something I learned in real estate, okay? But again, I'm pretty sure the real estate world did not come up with this on their own. And it applies all over the board. let's think of pain versus pleasure like this. What opportunities have you missed running from pain rather than moving towards pleasure? Let that sink in. What opportunities have you missed running from pain rather than moving towards pleasure? Here's an example. This one is one that hits home for me to this day. This sentence, this question, this theory. Cold calling. I already showed you in my numbers that I have to cold call at least an hour a day. Now, depending on your market, depending on how things are going in the economy, your conversion rates might fluctuate. So it might take you 2 hours in a hard economy versus 1 hour, but whole nother conversation. I just told you that cold calling for an hour a day is how I can get one sale, okay, of $4,000. And I need to do 33 hours of that, right? The thing is I hate cold calling. And most people do. And there are some people out there, God bless them, that love cold calling, but it's not me. However, I have built my real estate business on cold calling. Now, check how this adds to the pleasure versus pain theory. One day I woke up and my one thing is cold calling, and I decided I did not feel like cold calling. And I just didn't have it in me that day. I felt that I had got beat up on the phones previously, and I just wasn't feeling it. But then that mindset kicked in, the affirmations kicked in, the big why kicked in, and I said, well, if I don't call, I won't have any income. I don't have anything pending. I don't have any other income coming in. And quite frankly, I need to get up on the phone. I woke up that day, made the choice to get out of bed. I listened to some podcasts, and then I said affirmations all the way in the car till I got to the office. And believe me, before I start saying those affirmations, the affirmation was, I don't feel like doing this. Please be careful how you talk to yourself, because those affirmations can be negative too. And I don't feel like it is an affirmation. It's just not a good one. Okay. So I started saying affirmations. I can do this. I'm a great real estate agent. I'm going to snag a listing today. I got on the phone and I'm still battling in my head the pain of having to cold call. And if I ran from that pain, I would not have gotten on the phone. But I went ahead and got on the phone because the pleasure of getting a new listing and getting that $4,000 paycheck started to be the forefront of my mind. Within maybe the 5th phone call, maybe 9th, somewhere in there, a woman picked up the phone. At first, she gave me a little pushback, and I pushed back because that's a part of cold calling. She said yes. I got the appointment. It was a $500,000 house, $500,000 house. I've been in real estate 7 years, and I had sold maybe a $400,000 house, just up under, but not 500 yet, not a $500,000. Couldn't say I was in the $500,000 club. I went and met this lady, and before I went to meet her, I was giving myself some negative affirmations, and I said, I really don't feel like getting dressed today. I really don't feel like going to this lady's house so that she can tell me no, because I don't have a $500,000 house under my belt. and I just want to save myself the embarrassment. That was the pain. But then the other affirmations kicked in and said, well, what if she says yes? That'll be the first $500,000 house that I sell, and it will put me in a different bracket. I said, you know what? Put on what you have, show up, be you, relax. You got this. That woman signed with me that day. Not only did she sign with me, she gave me so much stuff because she was moving. That was well over the commission amount, plus the commission, plus I sold it for $30,000 more than we asked. And it closed in 2 weeks. And it was right on time for a bill that I needed due. But if I had ran from the pain of cold calling, of getting dressed, of getting in my car and driving that 30 minutes to her house, and being seen as what I, in my head, envisioned going into a $500,000 house as the Black girl, had I ran from that pain instead of running to the pleasure of breaking into the $500,000 club and getting a good commission that was right on time, I would not have been in the $500,000 club. So stop avoiding the pain, because that pain only lasted for an hour. The little bit of pain that I don't feel like it today only lasts while you're in the bed. Once you get out and get moving, you don't feel it anymore. Okay? So the one thing you need to do every single day, such that everything else is easier or unnecessary, and don't miss any opportunities because you're running from the pain. I promise you the pleasure is much greater. All right, so that's what it looks like. Most people fall in the average. They're going to 50-50 it. 50% of the time, they're going to let that pain keep them in the bed of putting on makeup, of getting your hair cut, of putting on that suit or those uncomfortable shoes. And that applies to men and women. Most people are average. Most people do nothing or do just enough to get by. The people that consistently run from pain are the people that move towards failure a lot faster. But the people who say, I'll take this little bit of pain because I know that pleasure is going to feel much better in the end, those are the people who have massive success. And again, I am an open book. I'm going to be completely honest. I told you guys I had 2 years that I did not do vision boards. A part of that was me running from the pain of having to do all that work. I was tired. I've been selling real estate and cold calling and chasing clients, and I felt tired. Burnout is real, which is why we need to move towards pleasure a lot faster and move towards that higher. I went that way, down this line. I went to the left, to the left, to the left. But in the beginning of my career, no matter how painful someone told me, you can't sell houses, that's going to be a hard job, I was like, bring on the hard. And I experienced massive success as an entrepreneur. I bought my first house. I did it as a single mother. I was vacationing every time you turned around. That to me was massive success because my perfect life was there. And then once I start, I don't feel like it, I'm tired, and not today, we go down the path of failure. So here I am today, and I am sharing with you, figure out your why, Figure out what you're doing this for, because in the pain, sometimes you forget why you're doing this. I forgot that I like to sit on the beach, okay? I don't know how, but I forgot. So when you're thinking about having that burger instead of that salad, because the pain of the salad versus the pleasure of the burger, remember, if you eat the salad now, you can have the burger guilt-free on the beach in your swimsuit. And no one ever gonna know that you ate salads all this time, because they just gonna be thinking about how good you look. Okay. The big why, the SMART goals: specific, measurable, adding a stretch goal, relatable, the big why, and time measurable. Knowing your numbers, attaching the value to the certain things you want to do, adding every single thing you can possibly think you want to do this year into those goals, and attaching some sort of value or timeline with them, and then drilling it down to the one thing that you need to do every day, such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary. And then making sure that even when you feel the pain, you run towards the pleasure and towards the massive success. Because the person that chose to stay in the bed, that is competing with you, they just lost a client to you. They are running towards complete failure, and you are running towards massive success. This is all I have for you today in my goal setting 2024 course. I am so excited for Urban Professionals this year. I'm so excited for you. I am so excited to help you reach those goals. I am so excited for you to help me reach those goals. I am so excited for us to have big whys and those perfect lives. And please understand that my perfect life does not look like your perfect life. Your perfect life does not look like the next person's perfect life. Your number does not look like my number, and it does not have to. $100,000, while it can make life a lot easier, it should not even be the end all be all, because there's a lot more money out here to be had than that. And guess what? It might not even take that $100,000 to fund your perfect life. Let's figure it out. Let's figure it out together. Now, if you would like a copy of my free, excuse me, that's right, I said free. If you would like a copy free of my goal setting workbook, and I'll kind of share what that looks like for you. I will give you a copy of my goal setting workbook for free. Okay. And let me tell you, with this workbook, first of all, I put this workbook together myself, based off of all of the research and all of the work that I have done in my 7-year career as an entrepreneur. 7 years is not the utmost longest time that anybody has ever been an entrepreneur. However, I have been on my own, making money on my own, supporting myself and my son as a single mother, because I follow the principles in this book every year. And again, not perfect. So the years that I did not follow these principles are the years I ran towards failure. So not just myself, but many others have used this workbook. Okay. And this is just a quick little preview of the book, workbook. If you would like a quick copy, a free copy of this workbook so you can drill down your numbers, I have space in here for you to write. I have the formulas to drill down your numbers. And this has helped many people, including myself. I go more in detail about self-mastery. And you really just, I go in more depth about the one thing in here. And I even challenge you to go through your one thing in each category of your life. In the workbook, we talk about pain versus pleasure. In the workbook, you actually are going to be forced to write down the pain and the pleasures and what happens if you do it and what it costs you if you don't in this workbook. And then you have some notes in the workbook that you maybe even can come back to this video and write your notes down or just jot down notes as you think about them. So again, I'm going to give you this free workbook. If you would like a copy of the free workbook, you can send me your information and I will put the link or the requirements below. Again, it is completely free. I don't want anything from you besides for you to win. And I would love it if you came back to help me win too, because I need you to hold me accountable and I will be happy to hold you accountable. All right, so this wraps up our first course of 2024. I am so excited. I'm going to be bringing you more free content, free courses throughout the year. We get nowhere holding all the knowledge to ourselves. And this is what Urban Professionals is about. So get a copy of your free workbook. Hit the comments below, drop your information. I will put a link. If I can put a link to download the workbook directly from this video, I will. If not, I will gather your contact information. Make sure you get the workbook, all right? Share this video. Invite someone in to come watch it. Invite someone into Urban Professionals Network. This is what we are here for, all right? Talk to you guys later. Happy year. Happy New Year.